Good morning and welcome back to Miniature Monday here on Gaming with ADHD, where today we're going to be taking a look at a few of the miniatures from Star Wars Shatterpoint from Atomic Mass Games. Now, in the core box set, you actually receive 16 different miniatures, and while I did an unboxing a couple of weekends ago, it's all pieces on sprues, and you don't really necessarily get a good look at the models. So for today's video, we're going to take a look at the first squad that I've assembled, which is General Anakin Skywalker and some of his clone trooper allies. And I'll let you know what I think of the sculpts, what I thought of the actual assembly process, and just get you a nice, good, we'll 360 turnaround of the miniatures so that you can decide if these are miniatures that you care for. Now, before we get started, do make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I try to put out a few videos each week covering all sorts of gaming topics, whether it's miniatures, role-playing, board games, or honestly anything in between. And I'd love for you to come along and see what we have to share. In addition, there are a couple of links down below. If Star Wars Shatterpoint interests you, there's a link to Amazon where you can pick it up. Obviously, you can also pick it up at your friendly local game store. But if you use the Amazon link, it is an affiliate link. It does give a little bit of a kickback to the channel, and we're absolutely appreciate it. But if you're not interested, not a problem. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So first thing I actually want to do is I want to show you the cards for the miniatures. Now, if for some reason you get this on the secondary market, or you buy it off of a friend, whatever, and you've lost all of the cards, you can get them all on the Atomic Mass Games website. So keep that in mind. The actual cards themselves are really nice, quality cards, good images, great print quality. But if you need a replacement, they're here. And I'm showing you off of the website because it's easier. So these are the first three units that we're going to be looking at. General Anakin Skywalker, CC7567, or Captain Rex, and two 501st clone troopers. Now I want to talk a little bit about how the unit assembly is put together. First off, for General Anakin Skywalker, he is going to be the primary unit. Basically, he's what determines how the squad is, or what resources are available to build your squad. And that's because of up here in the upper left corner, you're going to see 7 SP, and then you're also going to see the era symbol. So when building a squad, he provides 7 points, and he must bring units from the now I can't remember. How about we check the rule book really quick? From the, and I feel really dumb right now. Sorry, folks. From the Clone Wars era. Yeah, there's 2 eras right now, Clone Wars and Galactic Civil War. So this symbol up here represents the Clone Wars era. Then for the individual supporting units, so you're going to have, General Skywalker is a primary unit, Captain Rex is a secondary unit. Each squad is going to have a primary unit, a secondary unit, and a supporting unit. So Captain Rex is the secondary unit. He has a point cost of 4. Again, he is also from the Clone Wars era. And then the clone troopers have a point cost of 3 and are from the Clone Wars era. So basically, the secondary unit and the supporting unit must total 7 points or less. You can take a smaller unit, but that's what you're going to use to actually build your squad. So these are the models we're going to take a look at today. And so give me just a moment. All right. So this is our first miniature. This is General Anakin Skywalker. Now, overall, assembling the model was actually super easy. There are essentially, molded pins for every single piece. So the torso is in two parts, and so there's a pin in one of them and a slot in the other, and you just stick it right together. The legs come in two pieces, and there's a pin to slot one leg into the other, and then there is a pin to put the legs together into the waist to make the whole body. Each arm is a separate piece, again, pinned at the shoulders, so they actually do stick in. It's not there's no flat, joins to any of this. And then you've got the head, which, again, just sticks right in. Overall, the sculpt is great. These are large models. They're coming in at about 40 millimeters. But as you can see, lots of detail in the face, lots of detail in the hair, lots of flowing dynamic pieces. It looks like he's been moving around the battlefield. The pose is a little static for me, but overall it's perfectly. I really can't complain. It's still a good model. As far as mold lines, if you've been on the channel before, you know that I am not the best at cleaning up mold lines on models. Usually, to me, I'm just gonna let it slide. But with these, there are some noticeable mold lines on the front and the backs of Anakin's legs, and also a little bit on the arms. So I will probably go through and try and do a little bit of scraping just to get some of the mold line off. But we'll see how much work I want to do on it. But other than that, not a bad model at all. And it's going to be interesting to paint these up just because they are larger. So you're going to have to both work a little harder, to get some of the details to look right. And then also, hopefully it's just easier because it's not going to be, as tight quarters to get into some of the places. So, but that is General Anakin Skywalker. All right, next up we have Captain Rex. Now he is the secondary unit. What I've found with the squads for Shatterpoint is that usually your primary and your secondary unit are going to be named characters from the Star Wars universe. Obviously they're going to have screen time, they're going to have lines, so you're going to actually know who the characters are. And this one had a few challenges for me. A couple of things that frustrated me. Overall, it went together okay. Again, you've still got the slot and pin method for all of the parts, so everything actually went together very easily. There were a couple of things that I had issues with. So first off, on his left shoulder, he's got kind of this little epaulette thing. I don't know what it is, but it's a design choice. That piece kind of tucks underneath the helmet. There is a slot on the chest and a pin on the epaulette so that it does stick in the proper place. However, you have to put it on before you put on the head. Now, it does come with an option for a bare head. Personally, because I don't like painting faces, I usually go for helmets. And in my case, I had put the helmet on the model first, and then when I went to try and put on the epaulette, it was a bit more difficult. Luckily, the glue hadn't set yet, so it was easy to just pop the head off, put the epaulette in place, and then put the head right back. So that's something to keep in mind. Just make sure, put the epaulette down, and then put the head on, and put the epaulette on after you put the arms on. So again, little bit of quote unquote difficulty there. The other issue I had is there on his waist at his back. I'm going to call it a gas mask canister because that's what it reminds me of. Let's be honest, the Empire was very much based on World War II Germans, and that was something that they had as a little gas mask canister that would sit on their waist. And that is actually a separate piece, and it is microscopic, relatively speaking. I do wish, I realized that you would lose some detail and some quality because you couldn't really do the undercut for it because it's a cylinder, and so it wouldn't have looked as good if it had been molded as part of the model. But from a ease of assembly perspective, I would have much preferred that it be molded on, because number one, I actually had forgotten to put it on. I was afraid of dropping it and losing it. I do work on a work area, but it is on top of carpet and it's kind of dark underneath the desk. So if I had dropped it, I probably would never have found it again. So that's my biggest complaint as far as Captain Rex goes. But other than that, it's a good model. Actually, less mold lines than we even saw on Anakin Skywalker. A nice dynamic pose that kind of blends some static, just like he's taking up a defensive position or just like an action movie pose, something like that. It's a good model. I like it. And he's gonna be fun to paint up. So that is Captain Rex. All right, and last up we have the two 501st Clone Troopers as our supporting unit. So this is just two generic Clone Troopers. They're Clone Troopers. What do you want me to say? These actually did have that gas mask canister molded on, so it was not a separate piece to worry about assembly. But everything else, again, the pin and slot construction made it very easy to get them put together. Probably the hardest part was getting this guy who's in front right now, getting him glued onto the base, because he's obviously leaning forward a bit more. He looks like he's advancing. So that was a little bit harder, but honestly, just be patient and usually it's fine. One thing I will point out for assembling these, I did use Tester's model cement. I actually prefer that when working on hard plastic models. Usually you're going to want to put the model cement on to both parts, wait a couple of seconds. You don't need to wait very long, and then put the pieces together, because the model cement does actually melt the plastic a little bit. And then when you put it together, the plastic actually blends and fuses and essentially makes a solid piece. It's honestly my preferred way to do it, because it makes the miniatures a lot stronger. If you do drop them off of your table, it's much less likely that guns or heads or something are going to snap off. Not that it's impossible, but just less likely. But overall, these are fine. The sculpts seem a little off to me. Like they're a little too skinny or just too misproportioned, but overall it's fine. I mean, they're clone troopers. Who cares? They're gonna die anyways. But with these particular models, they do come as a set when you're assembling your squad. So just easy enough to get these put in. But that's it. So overall, what do I think of the General Anakin Skywalker squad? Honestly, it was good. One of the things I actually like about Shatterpoint is that it does focus a little bit more on the Clone Wars era, which does have lots of cool characters, lots of cool scenes and things that they can add into it. And so while they do have other eras available, I kind of like just sticking with the Clone Wars era for this, which also isn't usually as heavily, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Addressed by different games and products and whatnot. So I think doing a game like this that does focus a little bit more on that era is a bit more fun, because you still get Anakin as a good guy, and some of the cool dark side characters as well. So overall, the miniatures were fun, nice to assemble, easy to assemble, and honestly are going to look great painted up and on the table. But obviously that's going to come later on. I still have quite a bit more assembly to do, and so I'll be showing that off as it's done. So do make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of that. But with all of that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. It absolutely helps the channel. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and we will talk to you next time.